Asojano, of course, always talk to your elders about everything. Brother of Chango, Babarubo, father, the hunchback father. That's a path of Asojano, Babarubo, Asoyi, Isunage. Talk to your godparent about the path. I try to stay in my lane. Asojano, son of Nanaburuku, the adopted son of Yemaya, the lover of Ochun, the friend, the forever grateful friend of Orumila, because Orumila took pity on Asojano, and he got a reading and a bow and all this stuff. The lover of Ochun, as well as in debt and grateful to Ochun because she prayed on his behalf. To Olofi, please bring him back to life when he was punished. What else? Enemy is a strong word, but within the context of everything, there's so much to be taken consider of. Enemy of Obatala Ogian. There's a whole story that I'm not going to get into. Basically, Obatala drove Asojano out when Asojano went on a rampage of plaguing the world because the other Orishas made fun of and laughed at Asojano when he was dancing, and Asojano was crippled, and so people were making fun of the way he was dancing, like he was a freak show, and Asojano let out his wrath, so Obatala had to drive Asojano away from the town. That's his association with Obatala. Asojano, Oba Dahomey, the king of the Dahomey tribe of Benin. So a lot of people say that Asojano is, he's king. Like, there's a whole debate whether he's Arara, Lukumi. Like, there's no debate. Like, he's Arara, but that goes into, okay, so if he's king of the Dahomey, so how does that work with the Lukumi? Because the Dahomey is not Lukumi, Lukumi is not Dahomey, yada, yada, yada. Not here to get into that. Asojano, respected by all Orisha, even though there are stories of Asojano's wrath being wreaked upon the people and Obatala had to drive him out, whatever. Asojano is respected by all the other Orisha. Again, brother of Chango, he's eternally grateful to Chango because Chango lifted him up onto his shoulders, specifically Baba Ugbo. Chango lifted Asojano up onto his shoulders because he was unable to stand on his own. Continuing on, Asojano is the work companion of Oya. When I say work companion, a lot of times there's so many intricacies as to the relationships between the Orisha. So Oya, who is the one who lives at the the marketplace and the cemetery gates and all that. So he works with Oya. Afefe Iku, the wind of death, the breeze of death. So Asojano also represents the breeze of death, that when death comes over. Asojano is so closely associated with death. Saint Lazarus associated with death. Babaluaye Asojano is associated with death. Kobayende is associated with death. So closely intertwined with death. So we're going to talk about that. Master of Echu Afra. When I say master, Echu has no master. Echu, he's tricked Obatala. He's tricked everybody. So Echu has no master. He can come and go as he pleases, and he has the keys to do as he pleases, and he's first in everything. But every Risha has a specific Echu that walks with them. For example, Ochun, her loyal companion, is Echu Alaroye, that lives at the river with Ochun. So the constant loyal companion of Asojano is Echu Afra, who is Asojano's constant attendant. Father of Nawa, father of Ochabinu, who is the child between Asojano and Ochun. Those two Orishas, talk to your elders about. I understand that there's not a lot of information out there, but ask your elder, talk to your Oba, Oriates, and all that. Orisha Nawa, or Nawa, and Ochabinu. Okay? So that just gives you the relationship. I think it's important to understand the relationship between different Orishas. So let's talk about Asojano bringing Aro to the world. Of course, it's like there's multiple reasons for why there's multiple things in the world. So Aro, okay, so born in Eyoko Meiji Tutu. That's how Otto's in the world. But I'm not here to talk about things that I'm not particularly versed on. I have not memorized a million Odus like some Obaoliate. Okay? I'm not Timotea Latuan and Baya Changuaja Inewu. I'm just El Conquistador. Okay? So there's another school of thought, or Pataki, where basically Asojano brought Otto into the world so that Oya can call on Iku to eat. Because Iku is constantly he, sometimes a he, sometimes a she, usually a he within the story, within Patakis, has an insatiable appetite that is never 100% filled. So, ano, A-N-O, is sickness, that which is temporary. Flus, coughs, you got the shits. But you know it's gonna get better. You get headaches. That's ano, just in general ano. Aro, Asojano, is associated with Aro. Sometimes Ano can turn into Aro. What is Aro? Aro is sickness which is chronic, that which will remain for the rest of your life, that which guarantees death. Aro is the kind of ailment where a person asks for death, where a person begs for death because what they're going through brings long suffering. Examples: cancer, HIV, AIDS, psoriasis, eczema. Even though there's not so much like suffering involved with certain ailments, because Asojano is associated with all health. But more specifically, that which has to do with the skin and the blood, STDs. Butterfly skin disease. When I personally think of Asojano, I think of a person that has butterfly skin disease, but most people think of him with leprosy, cripple. Aro can be genetic, something that you're born with, something that develops later in life. Aro is what Stephen Hawking had, where it is continuous and chronic and there is no cure and you are guaranteed to die. And the person at some point will think about, yo man, I wish I was dead. That is the kind of punishment and curse and osobo that Asojano brings. Now, a little preference. Now, I completely acknowledge that we do, even though I'm saying all this stuff about there's no cure and Otto's going to kill you and all this stuff, and we want to avoid Otto and it's very, very serious and all that. We're living in a time in 2023 where there are cures for a lot of things. There are remedies. We have pharmacies. We have chemicals. We have pills where you can, what would kill a person 100, 150 years ago, where you get a paper cut and that was like a death sentence. You can have full-blown AIDS. You can have stage 4 cancer. You can have a whole manner of diseases and Otto in your life that constantly torment you and there's chronicness and there's no cure, and breast cancer, brain cancer, tumors and all this. We're living in a time where now these things can be treated. So just keep that in mind, because I'm about keeping things, I'm very pragmatic. Keep things within context. We're living in a historical time where what would kill a person years and years ago, cancer and certain things, ailments, was a death sentence. But even if there's a remedy, a lot of these things that I just mentioned, there's no actual cure. So even that's Otto, because it's still something a person has to think about. Okay, if I got AIDS, if I got HIV, if I got cancer, cancer may come back. The AIDS and HIV, it's always in my system, and these are pills that I can take to make things latent. But I know it's always in my system, so for the rest of my life I have to take pills. Diabetes is Otto, because it can then lead to certain other things, limbs being, taken off, appendages. There's a chronicness to it. Smallpox, it's always in your system. It can always come up at any point. It's not like a cough or a cold or whatever. But I hope I'm getting my point across when it comes to Otto. So Asojano represents Otto. Asojano also represents healing. Why would a person want to receive Asojano? Because if a person has an ailment, a person receives Asojano. Now, I said that Asojano is associated more so with diseases of the skin. Another Orisha associated with skin is Orungan. Orungan is the owner of skin. Asojano is the owner of the afflictions of skin, and he has ties with Ochun. Within this context, afflictions of skin transmutable through the blood, Ochimei, Ochun. And we're gonna get into that, mosquitoes, flies, all that. So there's just an interconnectedness that I would hope you guys notice. So Orungan, owner of the skin, Asojano is associated with the afflictions of skin, smallpox and leprosy and butterfly skin disease, the skin. So a person can have bone issues and be told that they have to go to Asojano, even though Obatala is more associated with bones. A person can have skin issues and be told they have to receive a path of Obatala. But there's just always an interconnectivity. But in general, Asojanos receive for health. But specifically, every Orisha has something more specifically that goes deeper. Aro is that specifically for Asojano. So now I was talking about skin. So Ochun owns blood. Ochun owns blood and affects the blood. Ochun, when she punishes, she gives STDs, infections of the blood, viruses of the blood. Asojano brings diseases that which affect blood. So even though Ochun owns blood, Asojano will affect the person through their skin to get into the blood. Asojano loves Ochun, so there's interconnectivity. So Asojano, that goes into his messengers. Asojano's messengers are the ones that are attracted to rot, the ones that are attracted to dead flesh,